بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد.
Okay, last time we said أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة, ayah number 28. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying your creation the first time, بعثكم, resurrection, which is a creation again. And again we explained from our mentality as human beings, repeating something is easier than doing it the first time. Anytime, always, this is the rule. When you do something multiple times, it becomes easier for you versus when you do it the first time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, of course, for Allah it's the same, first time or second time or any time. But for us to understand, those who doubt the resurrection, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, look at yourself. You were created the first time. Recreating you, which means resurrection, should be easier. So, and to Allah, it's like one soul. Whether He creates all of humanity or one soul, it's the same. Inna Allah sami'un basir. And of course, this is important for us on the Day of Judgment. Allah can hear everything, can see everything which happened in the dunya. The mazloom, the oppressed, will take his right from the oppressor. Allah is all seeing, all hearing, nothing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misses. And sometimes, wa alaykum salam, He delays the punishment. We explained that before. Just because He is delaying the punishment, that doesn't mean Allah is unaware. Allah says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Don't ever think that Allah is unaware of what those oppressors are doing. Allah is aware of what's happening in Palestine. Allah is aware of what's happening in the Muslim world wherever oppression is happening. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when the right time is. Ayah number 29. أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ. Do you not see? And again, every time Allah says, do you not see? He wants us to see, look, reflect, and ponder upon these things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ni'am which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ. Yulij, walaja, the word means to enter, for something to enter through something else slowly, in a way that is not noticeable. When something enters something else inside something else slowly. This is how the day and the night change. You know, the thing is, when you lose power, especially at night, the electricity is out, it doesn't happen gradually. You were in light, now without light. That's not how it happens between the day and the night, right? It's not like you're sitting in the middle of the day and the sun is in the sky. All of a sudden, it's night. Why? Because normally this is not comfortable and it can be scary. I mean, don't you get scared when you are at home doing something and then all of a sudden the power is out? It is scary. It doesn't happen gradually. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even regarding the day and night cycle, it happens slowly. We see how the night overlaps or come over the day, and then the day comes over the night in a way that happens gradually. And this is ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
How it's more beautiful too. It's more beautiful.
That's true. Well, that's true. The thing is, the sunrise and the sunset, that's true. And people normally watch these things, and we're supposed to look at it and ponder upon it and see the greatness of the Creator who made this happen. How the day comes inside the night and the night comes inside the day, and how the day changes in length during, in the summer the day is longer and the night is shorter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to look and see the ni'mah, because that will lead us to the Creator. And that will lead us to see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this possible for us. The day and the night cycle. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks in a different ayah about how He made the night sakan, peace, tranquility, so you can sleep. And the day is the time of energy and moving around. And the night is the time of rest, and sleep. And the day is the time of rest and moving around. And the day is the time of sleep. And the day is the time of tranquility, so you can sleep. And the day is the time of energy and moving around. And the day is the time of rest and sleep. And the day is the time of energy and moving around. And the day and not sleep. Yeah. So and it's proven now in science that if you don't sleep at night, even if you sleep the whole day, it's not going to be enough. They found out actually a cycle that happens within the human body. And I actually was listening to a lecture about it the other day. It's very interesting. They say your body makes certain hormones at a certain time during the night only. And a condition for that hormone to be made, you have to be in darkness.
Yeah.
Which means if you sleep during the day, the body is not going to make it, even if you're sleeping. You have to be sleeping during that time. For example, the growth hormone. The growth hormone, which makes the babies grow, that is normally made around 2 or 3 o'clock after midnight. And the baby has to be sleeping, and it has to be dark. Otherwise, the body doesn't make it. And other hormones, there are many. They are actually discovering more every day. So subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it, and this is why when people work night shift or something at night, they normally become weaker and they have some issues with their health. And they don't own a Lamborghini either for some reason. So yeah. So this is ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us that peace and tranquility at night, and the day is the time, to go out and work. Did you not see أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ? And we notice again that Allah starts with the night. He makes the night enter in the day and make the day enter in the night slowly. Because we said before that Allah created night before day. And that's why we know that, and this is always confusing for the people, now, Islamically, in the Islamic calendar, after Maghrib, so today or tonight, now it is Tuesday. According to the Islamic calendar, it's Tuesday night, and tomorrow, after Fajr, it becomes Tuesday day, the day. So after Maghrib, the night starts, and then after Fajr, the day starts. This is the Islam, and this is more accurate for sure. But according to the Western calendar, now it's still considered Monday until midnight, right? Midnight, and then it becomes Tuesday. So I tried to do this before, and people got confused in Ramadan. To say because this is how we decide when Ramadan starts. We say the first night of Ramadan and the last night of Ramadan. And the last day of Ramadan actually starts with the night, ends with the day. So this is the way it is. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the night before the day. يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَسَخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. He subdued the sun and the moon. It is amazing when we see greater creation than us, like the sun and the moon and the day and the night. Those things are greater than us. As Allah says, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ. The creation of the heaven and the earth is greater than the creation of man. Still, they work for us. The sun and the moon and the stars, all these things, even though they are greater than us, they work for us. If I want to give you a small example, have you seen one time there is a lion following the sheep command? Sheep is telling the lion what to do. That's not going to happen. So this is basically how it is. We have greater creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and He gave us power over it. Or He subdued it for us, to serve us, to work for us. So we have to be thankful to Allah. Sakhara, the word sakhara means to make something in the service of something else. And normally that something which is serving something else is more powerful. There is actually an interesting story in Bidayah and Nihaya. We have not reached it yet, but it's an interesting story to talk about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala subdued his creation, which is greater than us, to serve us. By the way, an example will be in Jannah. The angels are more powerful than us, will be serving us in Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So, a story happened at the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. It's an bidayah wa nihaya, so authenticity is okay. When Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhu reached Egypt the first time, and he invited people to Islam, and people accepted Islam, he noticed that they were doing something, and he asked them, what are you doing? They said, every year, and this has been going on for a while, we pick one young, beautiful girl, and we buy her from her family. Alhamdulillah, alladhi afana, yani. And we put some nice decoration on her, and then we throw her in the river, in the Nile, as a sacrifice, human sacrifice. By the way, these traditions still happen in many countries around the world. I remember a few years ago, somebody sent me pictures. I couldn't sleep that, and I shouldn't have opened the emails. Show you how they slaughter these people, and they throw them somewhere as a qurbani, yani, subhanallah. So anyway,
Are they in third world country?
Well, mostly, yeah, because the advanced, if you want to call third world or second world, they don't believe in stuff like that. These are superstitions. So, but they believe in something worse. They believe in the Halloween. The Halloween is even worse than that. But anyway, so when Amr ibn al-As saw that, he stopped them. He said, this is against Islam. We don't believe in this. We don't do this. There is no human sacrifice in Islam, so stop. People said, okay, fine. And the people were nice and obedient. They said, okay, they accepted Islam and they stopped doing that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test them. So the year which they did not do the sacrifice, the Nile dropped in water. There was a drought. It did not rain, and the Nile was less than the previous years where they used to do the sacrifice. So the people came to Amr ibn al-As and they said, radiyallahu anhu, and they said, look, we did not do the sacrifice, no water. It's not going to work. So Amr ibn al-As now does not know what to do. I mean, it's a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but those people are new Muslims. So he sent a letter to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu in Medina. He told him the story. He said, I came to Egypt. This is what I found the people doing. They stopped, but then this year the Nile dropped. What do we do? So Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu wrote a letter to Amr ibn al-As. He said, I will give you with this letter a small kind of like letter, a different one. Put the small letter in the Nile, inside the water. Amr ibn al-As said, okay, fine, that's weird. He got the letter from Umar ibn al-Khattab and he took the other paper or whatever he wrote him, the scroll, and he put it in the Nile. In the letter, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, and these stories, even though they're not very authentic, but we believe in the people who are close to Allah, like the companions, it's possible. In the letter, he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, from the Khalifa Umar ibn al-Khattab to the Nile. He's talking to the river. He said, if you were flowing by your own command, then do whatever you want. And if you're flowing by the command of Allah, I command you to go back the way you were, so those people's religion will not be affected. They said that year the Nile went up more than any year before without any human sacrifice. So I do personally believe these stories. Allah gives His righteous servants the dua. This is like a dua, Umar al-Khattab, because he was worried about people's deen. That can make them weaker, believing in the sacrifice. We stopped the sacrifice, the water dropped. So Umar al-Khattab And by the way, when the water went up, Amr ibn al-As told the people what was written in Umar al-Khattab's letter, that this Nile and everything in the world does not have a will of its own. It runs by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like he سخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى. They all run according to a perfect plan made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One scholar was saying, those who do not believe in God and they tell you the earth keeps spinning, right? And it spins around itself, and then there is the other stars and the stuff like that, and the sun itself is moving.
Mm-hmm.
So he mentions a good point. He said anything you spin, in some time it will stop spinning. If you don't provide it with some energy, it will stop spinning. How are these things still spinning since Allah created them? So this is a good question. What are they getting? I mean, I know the gravity and this and that, but something has to be providing the energy for them to spin. There is no, يعني, كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى. Everything runs according, and that's why when Allah commands the sun to rise from the west, it will rise from the west. The sun does not have a will of its own. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the sun, now you rise from the west, it will rise from the west. Everything is subdued to us by the will and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by our own power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how He gave us these great creation who work for us. سخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى. And another point, actually, subhanallah, I never thought of this before, but it's a nice point. In the early days, before the advancement of knowledge and science, people were afraid of nature. They used to believe, for example, I'm talking about a long time ago, before the astronomy and what we have of knowledge today. When the eclipse happens, they used to say the whale ate the sun. For real. The whale ate the sun. And then when the sun comes back, the whale threw up the sun.
Spit it.
That's a big whale, mashallah. But
He can
and that's
jump
why
so far.
people,
He can jump so far.
well,
the
for
sun.
them, they didn't know how far the sun is. And they didn't know how big the sun is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why people worship the sun and worship the planets and worship the moon and worship the fire and worship the sea and worshiped so many things. They worshiped everything because nature was ambiguous, was a mystery to them. And that's why Allah sent a messenger to those people to tell them, stop doing this. There is a creator to all that. At our time, we understand this. We don't have an excuse to worship the cow or to worship the sun or to worship the fire. Because we know these things now. We understand, according to science, we know where the sun goes in the eclipse. We know where the sun goes when it sets. In the past, they didn't know. Of course, that's not an excuse for them to worship these things. But this is why Allah sent them messengers to teach them. At our time, what is our excuse? Actually, the more advancement we have in science, the more we should be questioning the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how great Allah is. The more knowledge we have, when I went to medical school, I was really, really, subhanAllah, impressed with the heart, the human heart. Is the only muscle in the body, the human body, the muscles in the body, the red muscles we call them, these are the arm and all the muscles in the that we control.
Mm-hmm.
If you stimulate the muscle too many times, what will happen? If you keep stimulating the same muscle, and like, for example, somebody who goes and he works out too much,
Where's
what will
it
happen
out?
to the muscle? No, the first time you go and work out really hard, what happens to your muscles?
يتمزق.
It will be painful.
Yes.
Why does it become painful?
Lactic acid.
That's too much. We're not going that far. It's lactic acid. But when you stimulate the muscles too much, we have something called stagger or something like the muscle basically contracts and it does not want to open anymore. That's why you feel
Right.
you say my muscles are sore. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? You feel the muscle because when you are stimulating it, it contracts, it expands and contracts, expands and contracts. It gets to a point where it cannot expand anymore, so it stays contract, and you say you feel like you're so sore,
Yeah.
you're so sorry for doing it too. So the heart has the same muscle, by the way. It's the red muscle, but it's the only one. So of course now when the muscles get to this point, it contracts, it does not expand anymore until it gets rid of the lactic acid, like Brother Omar said, which means after a while of rest, right?
Mhm.
You have to rest before you can use your muscles again.
After
The
ibuprofen.
heart, huh?
After ibuprofen.
Or ibuprofen. Ibuprofen does not, yeah, you can take ibuprofen too. So, but the heart is the only muscle, if you stimulate it too many times, it will stop responding to the stimulant, so it does not get to that point. Because, I mean, if your body is all contracted and all sore, you can still live if you can't move your arms for a few hours. But
Mhm.
you cannot live if your heart stops moving for then, a minute or two. So the only muscles, and when you study this, you find it amazing that the heart, if you stimulate it too many times, it will stop responding. It doesn't care about you anymore. It just keeps contracting according to its own pace. The
Wow.
only one. If the heart was like the rest of the human body, anytime you do exercise, you will die.
Mhm.
So this is one of the things that we find amazing in the human body, that who made the heart in this special way, which is different from the rest of the body muscles. Yani, all these things, the more you understand, the more you learn, the more you love the Creator, and you find how great his powers are.
Mhm.
Um, so, of course, this is just that's why Allah says, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ. Look within yourself. Look at yourself, at your own creation. Yani, how the kidney filters the water, and how this, it's just amazing how the system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created is so perfect. And we still, people say, there is no God. It's just the
Yeah.
system created everything. وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى. They will all keep running, keep flowing, keep following the command of Allah, the plan, the program, until a certain time. When the certain time comes, Allah will stop these things from working for us. On the day of judgment, nothing works for us, not even our own organs. The free will we have no control. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. We will have no control over anything on the day of judgment. So, وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى. Imagine if Allah gave the power to a human being to control the sun and the moon. What will happen? I am upset today. No sun for anybody. I am not giving sun to anybody for a few days. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So, this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He kept these things under His command.
Mhm.
وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. And indeed, that Allah knows everything which you do. What does this have to do? We always said before, the beauty of the Quran is that the end of the ayah, always the end of the ayah, is connected to what the ayah's theme is all about, what the ayah is talking about. This ayah is talking about the night and the day cycle and the creation, or the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala submitted subdued the sun and the moon for us, to us. So why is it ending that Allah has the knowledge of everything you do? What does this have to do with the cycle of day and night and the sun and the moon? The thing is, some people think because it's dark, they can do whatever they want. because it's night. And that's why, subhanAllah, we see the crime is higher during the night than the day. True or not? When people want to steal or want to do something, do it in the day or at night.
Yeah, I think Shaitan is always there at night.
Yeah, shaitan sleeps during the day and wakes up at the night. No, actually, nowadays there is a crime day and night. They don't care anymore. Today, see, this is the thing. The funny thing, in our countries, like Yusuf said, the third world countries, the thieves work at night.
Yeah.
In these countries, they work at the day. They take your money when you're looking at them. You're looking at them and they take your money with your approval. Yani, same thing. Wallahu musta'an. Yani.
Alhamdulillah. They dare you.
Yeah. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. So just because this cycle day and night and the sun and the moon, don't think that Allah does not see what you're doing. Or this system, this universe, which is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time, that does not make him tired and he's unaware of what you're doing. And this is in Surah Ayat al-Kursi. وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا. It does not tire him, it does not make him tired to protect all of his creation at the same time. وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. The end of Ayat al-Kursi. It does not make him, it's not difficult for Allah, it's not tiring, he does not feel tired for protecting the heavens and the earth and keeping everything according to plan. By the way, again, another mistake people think that the sun and the moon and those stars are following a program which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just set in motion and he just left them like that. Allah is controlling them in every single second, millisecond. They are running by the permission of Allah. It's not like there is a program and they're just following the program. He is the one who is making them run. And we talked about the story when Banu Israel in Al-Bidayah and Nihaya, they asked Musa alayhi salam, does your Lord sleep? Right? And he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa, go hold 2 bottles, right, of glass or something, and keep them in your hand during the night, and stay up the whole night. Of course, towards the end of the night, he got sleepy and he fell and the glass broke. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if I fall asleep for a second, the whole universe will come to an end.
That's true.
It is all by the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ. That, which means this creation, this great creation, should tell you that Allah is the truth. What do you want more than that? وَأَنَّ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ الْبَاطِلِ. And anything they call other than Allah is batil, falsehood. They have no power over anything. Yani, who do you worship and why? Those who worship the cow, did the cow tell you to worship it? What power does the cow have? Those who worship the stone, the statues, did they tell you to worship them? And what power do they have? Those who worship other human beings. This happens. And again, Agha Khani and the Ahmadis, they believe that their prophet is the sacred representation of God on earth. They can't even touch his skin. You see him always wearing gloves. He's supposed to be holy. Holy cow. So, yeah. And sometimes, yani, when you obey a human being versus obeying Allah, while you disobey Allah, this almost as worshipping that person. So we have to be careful. So Adi ibn Mut'am, he was a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا in Surah At-Tawbah min dunillah, that those Christians and Jews, they worshipped their ahbar, their rabbis, and their priests instead of worshipping Allah. So Adi asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Oh, Prophet of Allah," he was Christian before Islam. He said, "We did not worship them." He thought worship is bowing down and do salah to them. The Prophet ﷺ said, did you not obey them versus obeying Allah? You obeyed them, you pleased them instead of pleasing Allah. So Adi said, yes, we did that. The Prophet ﷺ said, ذَلِكَ عِبَادَتُهُمْ. That is worshipping them.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people do not know this. When you obey somebody, regardless of what they tell you don't pray, don't fast, don't do this, don't do that, and you know this does not please Allah, and you still do it, that is worshipping them, basically. So Allah is the truth. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل. Anything you call other than Allah is falsehood. And when you call somebody that cannot help themselves, yani this human being whom you are worshipping, he gets sick himself. He gets sad. He gets stomach pain. I don't know why when I talk about stomach pain, but yani, anyone, they need help themselves. So how can they help us when they cannot help themselves? And of course that, counts as or includes those who go to graveyards and ask dead people for help. This is the same thing. Those people died. They need help themselves. They need our dua. They can't help anybody.
They cannot listen.
Huh?
They cannot listen.
They cannot even hear. They cannot لا يسمعون لا يسمعون دعاءكم. They cannot hear your dua. So you make dua to who? They cannot even listen. Anyway, ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل وأن الله هو العلي الكبير. And indeed Allah is Al-Ali Al-Kabir. Now here again we have two of Allah's names, Ali and Kabir. Ali, someone comes from high in rank. And why is it here? Why is Allah mentioning this Ali, higher in rank than anything else you might worship? That's why the ayah ends, as we said all the time, the end of the ayah fits the theme of the ayah. The ayah is talking about him being the haqq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anybody else other than him is falsehood, batil. So Allah is above all of those things whom you worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human beings, stones, cows, fire, whatever you worship, Allah is greater. Ali is higher in rank than all of them. And Kabir. Now, the word Kabir means two things in Arabic. Either great or old.